This is a story of a young boy called Joseph, how he survived his evil brothers and how God lifted him up from grass to grace. One night, Joseph had a powerful dream. He saw himself standing in a field, surrounded by his brothers. In the dream, Joseph saw 11 bundles of grain. Suddenly, his brothers' bundles bowed down to his bundle. Joseph told his brothers about the dream, but instead of celebrating, they became angry and jealous of him.
I saw our bundles of grain, and yours bowed to mine. Why would we ever bow to you?
Then Joseph had another dream. This time, the sun, moon, and 11 stars were bowing down before him. When Joseph told his father
Joseph, what are you saying? Father, I only saw it in my dream. If we let him go, our own status is threatened. He thinks he is better than us. Fine, but we sell him rather than kill him outright.
One day, Jacob gave Joseph a beautiful robe of many colors. It was a special gift, and his brothers hated him even more a few days later. Jacob sent Joseph to check on his brothers as they were grazing sheep far from home. From a distance, the brothers saw Joseph coming. They decided that Joseph must never return home. From a distance, the brothers saw Joseph coming. They whispered to one another, "Here comes the dreamer." Reuben stopped them and said, "Don't kill him." Instead, they threw Joseph into a deep, empty pit. Joseph cried out for help, but no one answered. Alone in the dark pit, he prayed and trusted God. Then a caravan of traders appeared. The brothers sold Joseph for 20 pieces of silver and watched him leave. The brothers stained Joseph's robe with goat's blood. Jacob believed his beloved son had been killed by a wild animal.
Father, we are so sorry.
He said, far from home, Joseph arrived in Egypt as a slave. His new life began in a foreign land. Joseph was sold to Potiphar, a powerful officer in Pharaoh's palace. Yet God was still with him. Joseph worked faithfully in Potiphar's house. Everything he touched began to prosper, because God was with him. Potiphar noticed Joseph's success and trusted him with everything he owned. Soon, Joseph became the manager of his entire household. But Joseph's troubles were not over. Potiphar's wife tried to tempt him, but Joseph refused to betray his master or sin against God. When she grabbed his robe, Joseph ran away, leaving the garment behind. He chose obedience to God over temptation. Potiphar's wife accused Joseph of attacking her. Potiphar believed her, and Joseph was thrown into prison. Joseph was taken to prison, even though he had done nothing wrong. But God had not abandoned him. Even in prison, Joseph remained faithful. God was with him. And soon the prison keeper trusted him with important responsibilities. One day, 2 of Pharaoh's servants were thrown into prison. Joseph noticed that both men looked deeply troubled. That night, both men had strange dreams. Joseph listened carefully and told them that God could reveal their meanings. The cupbearer told Joseph his dream. Joseph explained that in 3 days, Pharaoh would restore him to his position. The baker shared his dream too. Joseph sadly explained that in 3 days, Pharaoh would punish him. Joseph asked the cupbearer to remember him when he returned to Pharaoh. But after leaving prison, the cupbearer forgot Joseph. 2 long years passed. Joseph remained in prison, waiting patiently, until Pharaoh suddenly began having troubling dreams. Pharaoh dreamed of 7 healthy cows and 7 thin cows. Then he dreamed of 7 full heads of grain and 7 withered ones. Pharaoh was deeply troubled. He called Egypt's wise men, but none of them could explain what his dreams meant. Suddenly, the cupbearer remembered Joseph. He told Pharaoh about the Hebrew prisoner who could interpret dreams. Pharaoh immediately sent for Joseph. After years in prison, Joseph was finally brought before the most powerful ruler in Egypt. Pharaoh said,
"Can you interpret my
dreams?" Joseph answered,
God will give Pharaoh
but
the
God
answer.
will give Pharaoh the answer. Joseph explained that the 7 healthy cows meant 7 years of abundance, followed by 7 terrible years of famine across Egypt. Joseph advised Pharaoh to store grain during the 7 good years, so Egypt would have food when the 7 years of famine arrived. Pharaoh was amazed by Joseph's wisdom. He knew there was no one better to lead Egypt through the coming years. Pharaoh placed Joseph in charge of all Egypt. The young Hebrew prisoner had become the second most powerful man in the land. For 7 years, Egypt produced enormous harvests. Joseph gathered and stored the grain until the storehouses were overflowing. Then the 7 years of famine began. Crops failed, food became scarce, and people came to Joseph begging for grain. Far away in Canaan, Jacob's family was starving. He sent Joseph's brothers to Egypt to buy grain. When Joseph's brothers arrived, they bowed before him without recognizing him. Joseph immediately recognized them. Joseph remembered his dreams, but he did not reveal himself. Instead, he tested his brothers to see if they had changed. Joseph told them to return with their youngest brother, Benjamin. When Joseph saw his younger brother, he struggled to hide his emotions. Joseph could no longer hide his tears. He told his brothers, "I am Joseph. Is my father still alive?" His brothers were terrified, but Joseph forgave them.
I never understood the journey.
He told them that God had turned their evil actions into something good. Joseph's story reminds us that even when life takes us through darkness, God can still be working behind the scenes. Never give up.